Hey guys, okay, sorry, it's been a long time. I have not had any time to do anything recently. Been caught up with, stuff. But also hi, this is my Halloween, it's October, so this is my spoopy form. But yeah, you know what, today oops, I kicked something. So today I just wanted to do something really quick because I usually do, I've been super behind on my VTuber React series and I will get back to that. But today's a little bit different because I want to talk about a movie that just came out 2 days ago? I think 2 days ago, yeah, 2 days ago. And the movie I want to talk about is Dune. Because it is like almost 3 hours long, looks absolutely amazing. There was so much hype on it. It's based on one of like the most defining, I guess, like sci-fi books of all time. And I was just, at the end of it, I was just, that's it? Okay. Obviously, this complete disclaimer. This is only my own opinion. Everything is just my own thoughts. I just wanted to put it out there because there's a lot of things I wanted to say. So first of all, let's just, before we get into any of the stuff that probably people will yell at me for, because it seems to be getting mixed reviews anyway. But like before we get into any of that, first things, the good stuff about it. Okay, whoever casted this movie did an amazing job. I will say, the cast feels very real, very well done. I have not seen the books, so I don't know. I've not read the books actually. I kind of decided not to read the books because I wanted to see what the movie was about. And maybe now I'll read it, but we'll see. But casting was great, visually and sonically. Is that a word? But sonically, it's amazing. The world that is created in the movie of Dune is so believable and so just. It's really, if you think of the word epic, like this is what you think of. Like this is the scale of this movie is massive. The visuals, everything's amazing. The score by Hans Zimmer is so beautiful. But then the one gripe I had with this is that emotionally, it falls so flat. And I think the problem with that is that obviously it says at the beginning it's Dune Part 1. And man, that's a ballsy move if I've ever heard one, because as far as I know, there hasn't been a second part greenlit, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like a movie of this scale, you'd think that they just shoot everything at once, but I guess that would take too long. But then when they have to doesn't it cost more money to get everything back together? I'm not sure, but considering how much of it is CGI, I guess it doesn't really. It's just a lot of green screen, and I guess the assets are already made for a lot of the things, so it's. A lot of the stuff is already, or some of the stuff has already been done, but still, don't you think that's kind of crazy? I know that there's a, probably you guys have never heard of it. There's a Chinese movie called Function. It is similar, not similar obviously not similar, but it is similar as in it's an epic. It's a very large scale epic. It's historical. It's horseback riding, armies, war, magic, all these sorts of things. And it's a trilogy. And they shot all 3 parts, I think. They were shooting all 3 parts together. Basically, they shot 3 movies in a row. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, obviously, it's not completely viable considering you'd have to have the actors for probably, a long time. But still, it just seems kind of weird that it was Dune Part 1. There's no Part 2 greenlit. And, I mean, you never know what will happen with, obviously Warner Brothers and all that, but still, Because if you think about this movie as a standalone movie, it's not a very good movie. Does that make any sense? I've been reading some stuff that people were saying. It's oh yeah, some things they don't make sense. So it's you'll see later. But it's a complete movie. Did you just it's you made episode 1. It's you made a pilot of a TV series, and you're waiting for the rest to get greenlit. Instead, it's movies. it just feels weird to me, because if you like, there is no emotional core to the movie. It literally just is a setup for everything that comes later. For example, like one thing I had a problem with was Paul. Okay, it's still funny to me that he is like, oh my gosh, he's the chosen one. Everything's so special about this, and his name's Paul. But that's beside the point. But like, if you think about it, his character in this movie is, to be honest, not very interesting outside of like all these things that fate seems to thrust upon him. Does that make any sense? It's like everything he does, it seems very reactive rather than proactive. A lot of things that happen are things that he does in reaction to other people's doing things. Like, I mean, of course, when we get to the end, you're getting character development. But then, when you finally see like you're getting character development in like a meaningful way, the movie ends. Well, for me at least, when I was watching the movie, I was like, I literally was like, oh, okay. And then it cut to the credits, and I was like, out loud, I did say this in the theater, and I got some weird looks. But I was like, that's it? Because the pacing of the story is already slow. I get it. It's rather than a movie properly having like a plot, it's like a setup. It's world building. The whole movie is world building. Also, obviously there are spoilers in this. Obviously spoilers in this thing, because I don't know how to explain how I would give a review without any spoilers. But like it's very slow in that it takes an hour to sort of like get to like where the meat of what a lot of what the meaningful stuff is. They spend the first hour kind of introducing us to all the characters, which is like, I guess, makes sense, right? There's a lot of characters that are important, but then the characters then either they die off, or like you don't see what happened to them. And okay, I'm assuming same thing for any movies. If you don't see them dead, they're not dead, you know, clearly. So I'm assuming a lot of them will come back later. But I was like, oh, these characters, oh, okay, oh, and what? It just, I don't know. The characters just didn't feel. I mean, the characters felt. I really liked a lot of the characters, but like the character development just for Paul just didn't feel like it was actually there. There didn't feel like any emotional core to the movie. Like everything was it was all spectacle. I didn't feel anything. Even when like the Duke died, I was like, oh, this is really sad. But somehow, it just, because maybe it's because of the scale of things, it just felt so insignificant. And maybe that was what they were going for. You never know. I mean, it 100% could be. But everything just fell so flat then. Because I feel like with such an epic, you know, you want there to be like an amazing emotional journey, an emotional arc. And because this is technically, it's not a full movie. It's like half a movie. And because it's like that, there is no arc, because you get cut on the upward. And then where do you have to go? Right? I mean, so that's my biggest gripe with the movie, to be honest. It's literally just that. I would still give it probably like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Because everything is just set up so well. It's so beautiful. Like the sci-fi world, everything is just, it's done so well. And like the music was amazing. But it's just, if you think about it, just as a movie itself for everything, it's not a good movie because it doesn't get its emotional core and like plot across. But yeah, I mean, that was my little rant. This video was really just because I just wanted to talk about this movie a little bit, because I mean, it just came out 2 days ago, so obviously not everyone's had a chance to see it. I was just I just wanted to, I really want to hear everybody else's opinions, because a lot of times people I've been talking about like, oh, it was amazing. I'm like, it is amazing. Like everything that the movie does is amazing, but is it an amazing movie per se? But this is also one of the things that's very conflicting. story-wise, maybe it would have worked better as a TV series, right? Because it's so long, it's slow-paced. The movie is paced like this. These, I don't know how many movies they're gonna make, but if they make 3 movies, it's gonna be paced like. If you think about it, if every movie is 3 hours, and that's complete 12 hours. It's a 12 episode hour every like TV series, season 1, right? And maybe that would have made more sense. Except the only problem with that is the scope of it is so big. I could not really imagine watching that movie in anything but like IMAX. Like it just wouldn't do whatever. It wouldn't do justice to the rest of the film, or even anything that happens, like the sand, all that stuff. The sound design. Oh man, the sound design in this movie is amazing too. Like whenever the voice is used, oh man, it's so unique. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them to do something like layering voices and that sort of thing, but it like the theater felt like shaking. That was great. And also think about it. You spend like so much of this movie thinking about hearing or seeing what's her name, Chani, Zendaya's character, and she has like what 5 minutes of screen time, I think, and you can tell that she's gonna play a really really big part in this movie, in the series, but in the series, sorry, in this story, but what it just like ends, you know. That's still my problem. It just ends. I'm sorry. I went a little bit of a rant on this movie because like I wanted it to be good, and it is. It could be good. It's just half a movie right now, maybe even a third of a movie right now. Because if you think of all the big trilogy movies, think about Lord of the Rings, for example. Each movie is still a good standalone movie, even though there are more things to come. Dune, I personally don't know if I can say that this is a very good standalone movie. Because it's not. It's like I said, it's half a movie. And it's a half a movie with a very generic feeling protagonist because you don't get to see the rest of his journey. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it right now. I'm sorry for ranting. And if you're still here and still listening, I really don't know why you'd be, but I will say this is completely on an aside of the story or anything else, but all my favorite characters died. Also, this is a very personal opinion, but now you can stop watching if you just want to hear about the film. But like, I don't think like Timothée Chalamet did I think he fits the role very well, and his acting was pretty good. I don't know if I think there's still a lot to see about him because I don't think he really got a chance to shine really in this first movie. It's really gonna be about the next movie if there is one. So we'll see about that. But his dad was hot. Just saying. Also, Momoa's character, man, he felt like the only character that really like everybody felt like gloom and doom, and then Duncan was like smiley, happy, and like loyal. I don't know. He felt like he was probably my favorite character because of that. Everything else just felt so bleak. I mean, I guess you're in a desert, but if there's not even a little ray of happiness, what is there? Okay, I think I've said enough. I'm sorry for keeping you guys here just staring at me. But I don't know, we'll see if I ever do this again. This was just like I really wanted to rant off about this movie because I'd love to hear your thought. I would love to hear what everybody else thought of this movie, or if there's any grips. Also, obviously I haven't read the books, so, and I'm okay with spoilers because unless they're like in terms of like themes and stuff, because I know I do think they did change some stuff in the books. I don't know. I've been reading a lot that it's quite a faithful adaptation, but I'd love to hear about maybe some more ideas because it's gonna take, even if number 2 gets greenlit, part 2 gets greenlit, it's gonna take at least 3 years, and probably by then I've forgot a lot about what happened. But yeah, and maybe I'll do one of these again if for the next movie that I see or that I feel this way about. So I mean, if you'd like to see, please let me know. I'll see you guys later, and I will get back to all my other VTubers. I'm so sorry, things have been so busy recently. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.